Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. In this episode, Ring 2, the Japanese Ring 2, directed by Hideo Nakata in the year 1999. Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review, your guide to the wild world of science fiction action horror, with me, your host, Milo Sipka. Now, given this is my 25th episode for this year, and my 175th episode in total, not including all those specials I've done, and I just wanted to, for those who joined this channel recently, I just want to take a moment of your time to just talk about, or my time basically, to talk about what this show is about. It's basically me talking about films, video games, books, and TV shows, almost all which have genre elements in them. Basically science fiction, action, horror. Now, I know the reviews are basically filled with all this highly technical stuff. I'm not one of those pretentious types. I consider myself like just an average guy who watches a lot of, I've got like a lot of films in my collection, more than 1,000. And I do reviews that are basically for the layman's terms, so you can understand without having to go too technical or philosophical and stuff. I go into films watching for the escapism. I don't go into films watching just to see people dealing with everyday problems that you kind of escape from. That's not what cinema's for. Okay, now that's it for that. Now for the film I'm reviewing, which is Ring 2. Now this film was released in Japan in 1999. It's actually the second sequel to Ring, the original. The original sequel was called The Spiral. I'll explain more about that in a moment. Now, if you want to get the DVD in Australia, Ring 2 was released through Madman Entertainment. And you'll see the cover on that index picture I put for this episode. So that's basically the front cover. Now the disc is Region 0, it's multi-regional, so if you have for Americans, if you want to get this DVD, make sure your DVD player is PAL compatible. And it can play in practically any DVD player in the world, basically. Now the DVD, it's got a 185 anamorphic ratio, it's widescreen. It's got a Japanese 5.1 track in the 384 kilobyte range. It has English subtitles, but they're burned into the picture, so you can't switch them off. They're actually literally on the print. And the only supplement here is the infamous Sadako's video and international Japanese trails for Ring 2, Ring 0 birthday, and also some what they call Madman propaganda, basically the label that releases this Madman. They tend to put their preview trails in a section called Madman propaganda. And the trailers you'll find in this Kandahar, Cowboy Bebop, The Cat's Meow, and Boogie Pop Phantom, and also Pi. Now there is an Easter egg on the disc as well. On the main menu, if you highlight Explore Extras and press up on your remote to highlight the Japanese text version of the title, above the English title, press Enter to access the DVD credits page. Okay, so now onto the film. After the surprise success of a somewhat overrated piece of mystery horror, Ring, director Hideo Nakata quickly became a top dog director in Japan. As for the sequel, The Spiral, the original sequel that is, helmed by TV director Joji Ida, that proved to be a flop. In order to keep the franchise alive, Nakata and many of the cast and crew returned to make an alternate sequel based on an original story that did not contradict the events of The Spiral. That might seem a tall ask, but surprisingly enough, the idea worked. Ring 2 became a hit just like the original film did. Now, to be honest, for most people who don't watch foreign genre films with the assumption that they're overrated pieces of junk, might regard the sequel, which proves to be even weirder than its predecessor, with an almost completely incomprehensible plot, and some of the most awesome techno-babble Japanese horror cinema has ever produced, it's not even worth picking up for reviewing. But while the original Ring was passable at best, making a virtue of all the logic goofs and inconsistencies through a pervasive sense of weirdness that proves that you can't always turn to science to explain away the weird shit that goes on in life. Meaning that you just have to put up with it and accept it for what it is. Ring 2 does the same, but in Top Gear-esque overdrive that turns the story into an exercise in cleverly mounted slow burn scare scenes. I love that bit where the technician tries to erase the videotape, only for the damn thing to refuse to erase, and the ghost of the woman on the tape manifesting herself to give him the shock of his life. And some things that haven't been seen in Japanese film before, where the climax involving draining away Sadako's psychic called Yoichi, the young son of the original film's protagonist who was run over trying to save him, by plonking on his head one of those weird white headpieces that the infamous Om Shirinkyo cult used in its followers back in the late 1980s. And by the way, I actually have a book about Om. I might review that in the future. It's an interesting story about that Japanese doomsday cult that was responsible for an act of terrorism on the Tokyo subway back in the mid-90s. I remember when the news came out. And by the way, the cultists who were responsible for that attack were executed a couple of years ago in Japan. And connecting the other end of that thing to a swimming pool being something that would make you swear that whoever wrote the scene must have been huffing paint fumes to come up with this crazy shit. Outdone by the somewhat abrupt way the climax ends, leaving you with a what just happened look on your face, and spend the span of the closing credits, which actually has a much better song playing over it than the dodgy trance pop number that was playing over the original's closing credits, mentally trying to put all the pieces together, only to find that the film has kept some of the pieces for itself and has inverted the colour of the picture on the puzzle box, preventing you from making sense of it. I guess that the old chestnut of reversing the polarity of the neutron flow line from a 1970s Doctor Who isn't the ultimate bit of techno-babble you can come across. Now, there's no gore in this film, but there's plenty of moments that'll have your underpants crop into your butt crack in fear. And there's no nudity. Ring 2 earns the B grade for me, the 6 out of 10, but it's basically a solid film. For its weirdness and then some. It's solid in the weird shit, that's for sure. Now for the DVD. In a world where the Americans never had the opportunity to see this film on DVD until the late 2010s, we Aussies were lucky to see the whole Ring cycle get released onto our local market through Madman Entertainment, which saw fit to put out all 4 films in the franchise, Ring, Ring 2, The Spiral, and Ring Zero Birthday, on some rather interestingly designed DVDs in the early 2000s, when the franchise's popularity hit its peak. We Aussies were lucky. And by the way, The Spiral wasn't... there were box sets of this, but The Spiral wasn't actually included in the box set. It was available separately, and I've actually had a copy of that once, years ago. Now, as for Ring 2, the DVD has an almost identical menu design to that of the original, save for differences in supplement. Ring Zero Birthday had a different menu design. Now, I already explained about the Easter egg. That's, in case you're wondering, it's on the main menu. Just highlight Explore Extras and then press up to reveal the film's title in Japanese, and then press Enter to access a 59-second stag page of the DVD's technician's credits. Quality of the picture is similar to that of the original film, with that distinctive Japanese film stock look that makes the film look somewhat like a direct-to-video feature, which it most certainly isn't, but clear enough to make out the small details. The soundtrack is in Japanese 5.1 in the 384 kilobyte range. Most 5.1s you get these days are like 448 kilobytes, this one's slightly lower, and there are English subtitles burned into the picture in white font, which, even to a degree, translates a fair bit of the closing credits, although there might be some legibility issues with bright backgrounds in the film itself. Now, the supplement consists of international and Japanese trailers for Ring, Ring 2, and Ring Zero Birthday, and the Madman propaganda reviews for the pretentious Afghan film Kandahar, the popular anime film Cowboy Bebop, the American comedy drama The Cat's Meow, Boogie Pop Phantom, which I mentioned in the review for Ring, although unlike the original's disc, which actually had a sample episode of the series, only the trailer for that misbegotten trash is featured here instead of a simple episode, and the art house thriller Pie. So basically Ring 2 in a nutshell gets a B, 6 out of 10. It's solid. And it's probably the best of the Japanese Ring films, to be honest. And by the way, this was originally a TV series. Before the original film came out, there was a short-lived TV series that came out. And then South Korea, or Korea, was actually the first country to make a remake of the film, believe it or not, called The Ring Virus. If I ever come across that, I might get it. Now, I should also point out that I do quite a bit of international cinema as well, but mostly Italian. I love the Italian genre films of the old days. Those were awesome. And yeah, if I don't do requests, but if you want to know for a particular film in my collection, just hit me up in the comments section. I'll answer. Also, if you have any questions about certain problems with DVDs or something, if you want to have DVDs uncut or something, just hit me up in the comment section, and I'll do my best to. Bicyclists. Also, yeah, if you have any technical issues, I'll be happy to answer. I do my research into these things. Okay, so that's it for that. And for the Ring 2, I'll just show you the cover. That's the Australian DVD cover from Madman Entertainment. And hope you guys are staying safe, and that's it for this review. See you around.